I finally watched Superman, and my god, what a movie. I know. The film is not perfect. It is not the best film in the world, nor it is the best Superman movie. Well, in my opinion, it might be, but it's my opinion. So, this video is gonna be only my opinion. So, if you don't disagree, you can leave it right down here on the comments and say whatever you want. Just please make sure you don't mistreat anyone so we don't have any problems, okay? So, it has its flaws, but for me, this film is special, and I will explain why after the intro. Since its announcement, I was already excited about the film, because after many years in a universe of Zack Snyder's film's failure, I was waiting for a good Superman movie to finally come out and to give me the hope I was waiting to have for a DC movie universe. And when James Gunn's movie was announced, I was really expecting something to be really good. Because after all, director James Gunn, when it comes to adaptations of comics, there is no one, or almost no one better than him. After productions like the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, which is the best, even better than the Avengers, there's no comparison, by the way. The best trilogy from the MCU, the series of Pacemaker, which will have its second season soon. I was really hoping for something I would like, and my expectations were very high. Until the first trailer was released, the vivid colors, the vibrant colors, the action scenes, the trailer in general captured my attention and only raised my expectations even higher, which were already quite high. So, as time went on, I only became more excited and increasingly certain that this film would deliver the Superman I'd be waiting for and would be the fucking success I was waiting for. Not the genocidal Superman who lets people die without even caring, who kills villains even though he has ways to stop them from attacking the city or its citizens, or who even lets his own father die, even knowing he has powers he can save him. This is the Superman I wanted, the one who cares about every life form, no matter how small, who brings hope even when everything seems to be going wrong, and who, even though he's the most powerful being on the planet Earth, is still human and has feelings, and who, like us, makes mistakes, but moves forward and tries every day to be a better person. If there's one thing I loved about this film, it was the characters. Honestly, there is not a single character I remember from this film that I didn't like, because they were all incredible. Some more than others, but overall, there wasn't one I didn't like, or an actor who didn't play their character well. So, the first one that I'm gonna be starting with, it's kinda obvious. Superman, or Clark Kent, or what was his Kryptonian name? I forgot. Oh my god, I forgot. Let's just move on to what I think about him. Can we? I really love this Clark Kent adaptation. The actor, in my opinion, David Corenswet, was perfect for the role. And this Superman is incomparable to Henry Cavill's. I know, there's a lot of Henry Cavill's fans, but I got to admit, I don't like his Superman. And this is not about him, so let's move on to David Corn's wet one. So, in my opinion, he humiliates Henry Cavill's version. As I said earlier, this Superman is human. He makes mistakes, but he continues to strive to be a better person every day. He's not perfect, and that makes him human, and even somewhat relatable. In the scene against the kaiju, while the Justice Gang pushes the monster around and tries to kill him, or kill it, we see Superman concerned about people, saving them, as if it were a priority, unlike a certain Henry Cavill. He's concerned about saving even a squirrel. And even the kaiju shows pity when he sees that the Justice Gang kills the monster without any concern, and even asks if there isn't a better way to solve a problem. If there's anything more than Superman than that, I don't know. As for saying he only gets hit throughout the entire film, I think it's a complete lie in the talk of people who watched the film blindfolded, or simply didn't see it. Usually the parts where he gets hit are in places where he has to hold back his strength and there are people nearby and he doesn't want to hurt. That's Superman. But when there's no one around, then it's better to run away. An example is the scene where he's fighting the engineer and Ultraman and can't hold back anymore. And yet, he tells engineer that she still has time to change, which shows his concern. There's also the scene where he's fighting Lex Luthor's raptors and starts spinning like a Beyblade, which I thought was really awesome. So, no, he doesn't just get hit. He also hits. And really, really hard. Another scene I really liked was when he confronts Lex about how he's also human and has feelings, and that even if he makes mistakes, he tries every day to be a better person. I really love that scene, and that is just pure Superman essence, pure Clark Kent essence. And I love to finally have a movie with the fucking awesome adaptation that we all needed. Moving on to Lois Lane. I also thought Lois Lane was really good. I feel like maybe her and Clark's relationship could have been more explored a little bit better, but it's not a bad thing. It's just a silly and very small criticism of mine, because I don't really think it affected the film much at all. On the contrary. But overall, I really liked her. Also because she's not the protagonist's girlfriend who just screams and needs to be saved. She shows in many scenes that she's independent and can handle some things on her own, which I loved. I liked. She's not a Mary Jane from the Raimi trilogy, but she's also not a Mary Jane from the Spider-Man 2 game, which is very good, and I'm very happy to see a good representation and a good adaptation of Lois Lane. Now, about Lex Luthor, I don't need to say anything. He's that villain in the movie whom we end up hating for all the shit he did throughout the film, but at the same time, we end up liking him because of his ego, his hatred of Superman, and his obsession with him. You can really see that he only thinks about Superman 24/7. And that without him, he doesn't exist. Or at least can't live. It's as if his entire life is dedicated to Superman and to destroying him, just like due to his envy, just like the Joker with Batman. But in that, about the Joker, he doesn't really want to kill the Batman. He just likes the Batman. His genius is also evident. The Madman has an army of monkeys in a pocket universe, which proves his intelligence and genius. And that's something that only in a comic book movie we would see, you know? Like, that's so comic booky. This movie overall is so comic booky. I'm gonna talk about that later, but this I want to point out that this movie is like, I think it's probably or one of the movies that I watched that is so comic book. Like, bro, a guy with a monkey army that are using computers in a pocket universe, that's just crazy, and it proves his intelligence and genius, and it's just so comic booky, you know? It's something that would happen in a comic book. But moving on to the next character, which is not a person, but it's a character that I really liked, his adaptation. In my opinion, and based on what I saw during the film, Crypto serves more as a comic relief, which doesn't necessarily mean he's bad. I just loved every single scene he appears in. He serves to entertain and lighten the mood of the film. And I also liked how he keeps Superman awake, but shows his concern for him. Like when he breaks into Lex Luthor's building in a huff, asking about his dog. And there are parts where Superman tells Crypto to do something, but he does the opposite, which are personally the funniest for me. And if you don't know, in the first comic books where, like, in the beginning of Crypto and Superman comic books, his personality was like this. A messy dog, which I really like that. A problematic dog. Not problematic, but, you know, that dog that does the opposite Superman says, you know. And I really think it's really great to bring Crypto adaptation like this. In the end, I also found the scene where he attacks Lex Luthor very funny, which was well deserved, and even reminded me of the Hulk versus Loki scene in the Avengers first movie. I burst out laughing because I wasn't expecting that scene at all, you know? And even knowing that the dog is completely CGI, there are scenes where I really think they use a real dog. Because that CGI is so realistic and perfect, man. Like, if you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Like, there are some scenes that you really think Crypto is real, you know? And it's kind of crazy. Finally, a good movie with great CGI, you know? Spectacular, amazing Spider-Man 2 CGI. Same level, or almost the same. About the engineer. The engineer is a character I don't have much to say about. I didn't even know about her existence before the movie, just like some other characters I'm gonna talk about soon. And I don't have much to say about. She's a character who didn't have any development in the film, and for whom we don't even know anything about her motivations or almost the origin story. But we'll most likely see more of her in the future DCU project. And I'm kind of interested to see what they're going to do with her, in which next movie she's going to appear, if we're going to see more development about her. We're probably going to see, because it's James Gunn, man. It's James Gunn. Ultraman. Ultraman here serves as a brute force for the fight scenes with Superman, like the engineer. And like the engineer, I don't have anything to say about him, but I'm almost sure he will come back as Bizarro, which I would like that idea. I think it kind of makes sense, but let's see what James Gunn's gonna bring us in the future. Now, let's talk about the Justice Gang members, do we? So, first one, and my favorite from the three, is Mr. Terrific. And to be honest, I didn't even know he existed. Mr. Terrific, until this movie, he was a character that it surprised me a lot. And I really liked him. Maybe one of my favorites in the entire movie. The action scenes, like the one against the Lex guards while protecting Lois, and that, like, kind of sphere shield, are very good. His powers are different, and I really like them. Of the 3 members of the Justice Gang, was what I liked the most, despite the other 2 not having the same screen time as he had. I would like to see a solo movie of his. I really think it is possible to do it. So, James Gunn, come on, man. I want a Mr. Terrific solo movie. I really need that. I really do, man. Imagine the possibilities. Just kidding, but I really would like to see a solo movie of him. I think it has potential, like I said. As for Guy Gardner, it was an adaptation that I also liked a lot. His personality is just like in the comics, with his inflated ego, sarcasm, and arrogance that were very well represented here in the film. My favorite scene of his was when he went to the war where Superman couldn't go and just started using his powers against the military cars and tanks. And I just found the way how he uses his powers very creatively. I think it was a very good adaptation of the character, and I really hope to see more of him in the series of the Lanterns that is gonna come out soon. And I really wish that we finally get Green Lantern what he deserves, adaptation he deserves. I think people forgot about Green Lantern existence. We all see people talk about Spider-Man in the movies, Superman, Batman, and all those characters, and we forgot Green Lantern, and we forget that in times he was one of the most famous heroes in the world, and I really think that people should be reminded of his existence. And Guy Gardner, man, I really love his adaptation here, that egocentric person was just amazing. Now, moving on to Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl wasn't a character that really caught my attention during the movie, because she only appeared there to hit on some enemies and that's it. I don't have a formulated opinion about her, but I'm pretty sure she'll get her development in future projects of this new universe. Maybe Justice League? I don't know, but I'm kind of thinking that she's gonna appear in the Justice League movie in this Hawkgirl, because there are different ones. I don't know her name, this one, nor the other ones, or other one. I don't know how many Hawkgirls are there, but I know there is one more than one, actually. And I really think she's gonna appear in Justice League. If not this one, another one, but I would prefer this one because I really want to see the character having some development and, some kind of story or backstory going on there. I just saw her hitting some enemies and that's it. We didn't saw anything more, so yeah. Metamorpho was a character that I liked too. Like I said, there wasn't a character that I didn't like, so I liked Metamorpho too. He also didn't have any kind of development like Hawkgirl or the Engineer, but he showed himself to be someone who Superman inspired to do good, especially because he later went on to fight alongside the Justice Gang in the war. Man, I hate this name. I hate this Justice Gang name. I don't like it. There wasn't a clear development, but I really liked his participation in the movie, And he was kind of a relevant character that I wanted to point out and talk a little bit about him. But that's it. I liked him. Yeah, I liked him. Now, two characters that one of these two characters, man, is definitely one of my favorites. Like, I'm not even joking if I'm putting him in like top 5 or top 3 characters of the movie, because I really liked him and he almost didn't show up in the movie, which is Jonathan Kent and the other Martha Kent. Now, I feel sorry there were more scenes with these characters on the farm and in Smallville during the film, with like Superman, Clark Kent scenes there and all of that. I would love to see more scenes about it. I feel like it was something missing, you know? As for Martha Kent, there wasn't a single scene with her in full dialogue, but I liked her, you know? The times that the little seconds we saw her talking and acting, I really liked this Martha Kent. But if there wasn't a Martha Kent scene that caught my attention in this movie, my favorite scene is between Clark, or Superman, or Kal-El, or whatever you want to call him, a conversation with his father, Jonathan. Man, I just loved. My favorite scene could have been like an action scene with Superman or the Justice Gang in action. All of them are very good, but like none of them impacted me, as much or left me as emotional as Superman's conversation with Jonathan Kent. It was the scene in the film that gave me the most chills, you know? After Superman discovers that his biological parents wanted him to dominate the Earth instead of saving it, he goes through a kind of breakdown, questioning his purpose and feeling bad about who he is. But Jonathan Kent interrupts him and tells him that his choices and actions are what make him who he truly is. Like, this scene gave me the chills because it's not Clark's Kryptonian past that makes him who he is, but the values he learned and the actions that demonstrate who he really is. This scene for me is the best. Like, it competes with another scene in the movie later, some minutes in the movie, but this one, man, I just loved it. Like, I got really emotional in the scene. Like, I didn't cry. I'm not a person that I cry with movies, but I really got very emotional with this scene, you know? So yeah, that's it. As for the last character I'm gonna talk about, is Supergirl. The little we've seen already indicates that this adaptation will be very different from the CW series, which had a personality more similar to Superman's, while this one seems to have a very sloppy, impulsive, and problematic personality, and even makes me excited for her movie that is seen to be released next year alongside Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I actually liked her, and I want to see more of her, because the CW series version, like, she's like a female Superman, and I don't see that as good as this. I really like when they make the characters with different personalities, and I think that Supergirl and Superman being cousins but having different personalities and different perspectives, it's like, I really prefer that, you know? I really, really prefer that instead of that personality that she's like very good and kind. No, this Supergirl really makes me think that this universe will be good and the next movie of hers will be good. So yeah, that's it for the characters. Okay. Regarding the film's visuals, I have no negative criticisms and only positive aspects. And I have to say it's perfect, or at least near perfection. The characters' designs are exactly like the ones in the comics. At first, I was a little surprised by Superman's look because of the new 52 style color, but when I saw the movie, it didn't bother me at all. I even grew to love the look, the vibrant blue, the red clothes, Superman's physique. It's like he was spit out of a comic book, you know? And not to mention the untucked underwear, which I was very late in saying would never work and wouldn't be taken seriously. And for those people, there is not a scene I watch and stop taking seriously just because of the untucked underwear. In fact, it looks much better this way. And not just Superman's look. The film's cinematography is also very beautiful and colorful, as it should be, like a comic book. Everything is very reminiscent to a comic book, you know? There are also scenes, most of which only a comic book would have, like the Pocket Universe scene. A man in a blue suit and a red cape flying with another flying dog, holding a baby, while being pulled by a green and purple man with multiple arms, spitting eyes, and being pulled into a black hole while inside of a pocket universe. Do you want anything more comic booky than this? I don't think there is, and I personally was very happy that this movie wasn't afraid to have that comic style essence, you know. James Gunn really understood that. As for the soundtrack, to me it's perfect. It gives me goosebumps. One scene where the soundtrack starts playing gave me goosebumps, and it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Is the one that I was saying that after Jonathan Kent scene is my favorite. It's when everyone has evacuated the city and there's still a woman trapped in her car, like in that bridge scene. While a building begins to collapse on top of her. And just when she thinks she's going to die, hope dawns and Superman appears holding the building up. At the end, she escapes and looks back as amidst the dust of the building and the wonderful sunlight, Superman appears in the sky. Did I say sky? Is that even a word? In the sky, while the wonderful soundtrack plays. Now, if I find this scene, I'm definitely gonna put it here so you can watch it for yourself. It's so emotional too, you know? Like, you really get hope. You really get, like, I don't know, you really get in the movie in that scene, you know? It's kind of crazy. And about the theme, this Superman theme song is one of my favorites. One of my favorite themes of all time. I can't help but get goosebumps every time I hear it. I'd say it rivals Danny Elfman's Spider-Man theme song. It's simply perfect. Almost rivals, because Danny Elfman's Spider-Man theme, man, it's just damn. It's one of my favorite Spider-Man themes. No, not my favorite, because my favorite is the Spider-Man PS4 one. I'm a big fan of the Insomniac PS4 Spider-Man. And that theme to me it's very important to me. No, I'm not talking about that shit game Spider-Man 2, because that shit to me never existed. If somebody wants, I can make a video talking about that. I would really like to know that people want to hear me talking a lot of shit about that game. And I would be really happy if someone comment down there saying that they want a Spider-Man 2 or like the whole Insomniac Spider-Man series video, but this is not about Spider-Man or Spider-Man themes. This is about Superman, so let's move on to the next and I think last topic. Okay, now talking about the message and my personal opinion, which actually my personal opinion was the whole video, so starting with Superman message. Superman message seems to emphasize the importance of human kindness and individual choices. And one of the quotes attributed to him is, "Your choices, your actions, that's what makes you who you are." The scene that I talked about earlier about Jonathan to Clark. And as Clark's father says that, I really think that this movie represented that. And if I would resume this movie in one single word, is hope. This movie gave me all the hope we needed in superhero movies. That's where comes the conclusion, in my opinion. Overall, I really enjoyed the movie, and the last time I left like this, so happy after seeing a superhero movie at the cinema, was with Deadpool and Wolverine. But still, I think I like the Superman movie better. This film brought the hope we all needed for the future of DC in the cinema industry, and is a beautiful representation of one of my favorite superheroes ever. I hope that a year from now, I'll leave the theater with the same pleasure and happiness I had with this film, with Spider-Man 4 Brand New Day and Supergirl, as I did with this Superman movie. Holy shit. Oh, I almost destroyed my micro here. If you'd like, I can even make a video about Spider-Man 4 and what I hope it will be. But overall, this was the video. I loved Superman, and despite making a few small mistakes here and there, this film still gets a 9 or 9.5 out of 10 for me, because it fulfilled its role as a Superman adaptation, in which the goal is to represent hope. And this movie did that very well. This was the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you later. In the last video, I'm gonna put the same warning in the end of the video. If you didn't watch my Wolverine action figure review, I'm gonna put the same warning at the end of this video. So there will be like more 3 minutes of video. But yeah, this was my Superman analysis. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye. Okay, before you leave the video, I really wanted to ask for your help with something. For those who don't know, or haven't seen previous videos here on the channel, I'm currently working on a project, a Spider-Man fan animated series. And I can't continue the animation alone. This is because I don't have anyone to help me do the character voices. I was even considering combining artificial intelligence with my voice, but I want the quality to be as good as possible, you know? I want the character's voice to look as realistic as possible. I already had a document with several names of people I knew who said they wouldn't mind helping me in voicing some characters, but apparently they all changed their minds and just decided not to do the voices for the characters anymore. I don't know why they lost interest, but you know. Maybe they have their own life and just can't help me. I have no idea why. So, since I don't have anyone, I like anyone watching this video who shares my love for this amazing character that is Spider-Man to help me out and be interested in voicing a character, like a character you want and that I think that will combine with your voice. Leave your request here in the comments, and or if you want, you can send me a DM on Instagram. If you're interested, I'm gonna leave my Instagram down here. You can go check that out and just send me a DM if you want to talk with me and if you want to really participate in this project. And you can leave in the comments too. You know, we later can discuss about it in more detail. In fact, I might make a video giving updates and talking a bit more about the animation and any progress I can show, like concept arts, posters, character designs, maybe talk a little bit about the plot, but that's it. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video. I really hope you enjoyed the video. And I hope someone is interested in participating in this project because I really need your help, guys. I really need people help. I wanted to make this alone because I normally don't count on anyone to help me, but my only way is artificial intelligence, and I don't really want to do that. Now, a last warning is, if you want to be Peter Parker, I'm sorry. That role is already occupied. I am going to be Peter Parker, and maybe I'm going to be some other characters that I might not get voices, but the video is getting a little bit big, and that's it. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to participate, like I said, send me a DM on Instagram, and that's it. Goodbye.